Hello friends, in today's video we will try to learn or understand a topic called comparison of business, profession and employment. Again, the topic is comparison of business, profession and employment. Now friends, when we say comparison includes similarities and dissimilarities. So we will look at what are the similarities and dissimilarities between this or among these three concepts: business, profession and employment. So I have just drawn a table through which we can take up the topic in a more lucid way. So here we have written points of comparison, and then we have business, profession and employment. As far as examination is concerned, a student can answer multiple type of answers if he or she is clear about this particular explanation. Okay. Now, number one, we can easily answer the difference also. Difference between business and profession, difference between business and employment, difference between profession and employment, if we have this concept clear. Okay. So number one, meaning. Meaning of business, meaning of profession and meaning of employment is obviously different because they are different concepts slightly. All three are economic activities, but they are slightly different from one another. Number one, meaning of business is any legal activity carried out with the intention of earning profit is called business. Now I will take up illustration also together because they go together. So again, business is any legal activity carried out with the intention of earning profit is called business. In business, there is exchange of goods and services or manufacturing or production of goods and services against money or in return of money, and thereby businessmen try to earn profit or industrialists try to earn profit. For example of business, a grocer selling groceries is an example of business. A footwear manufacturing company manufacturing footwears is an example of business. Or industry, remember, is a branch of business. Now we come on to profession. What is the meaning of profession? Profession means any activity requiring special knowledge, education and training in which specialized services are provided in return of fees is called profession. So again, profession means any activity requiring or involving special knowledge, education and training in which individual services or personal services are provided by charging fees is known as profession. For example, some examples of profession are a doctor, a lawyer practicing at the court of law, charging fees, right? A chartered accountant giving accounting and auditing services to the clients are some examples of profession. And employment, or which is also known as job. So employment means any physical or intellectual work provided in return of fixed remuneration or salary, which we call it salary or wages, is called employment. Okay, so that is employment. Employment, some illustrations, कुछ examples employment के. So examples of employment are, for example, a worker working in a factory is an example of employment. A teacher teaching in the school is an example of employment. A cashier or a bank officer working in a bank is an example of employment. So friends, we covered two topics, two rather points parallel simultaneously: meaning and illustration of business Profession and employment. Now we move on to third point of comparison is qualification. Now, by qualification we mean to say that do we need any qualification to start or establish or run a business? The answer is no specific qualification is required to start or run a business. But in profession, if we move on to profession, special qualifications, knowledge, education and training is must. Without that you cannot be a professional or you cannot undertake any profession. And as far as job or employment is concerned, we may or may not need qualification. If your job is a skilled type of job, you might require qualifications. If your job is of unskilled type, you may not require any specific educational qualification. Point number 4, reward or return that one gets is different in all three. Reward or return, as you very well know, in business is called profit. Return or reward that a professional get by undertaking a profession is called fees. And reward and return that a person get in job or employment is called salary or wages, which is predetermined and fixed. Number next, do we require any capital investment? It is also differ from this activity to activity. As far as capital requirement or investment is concerned, in business we need capital investment. A business is not possible without capital investment. Of course, investment level might differ from business to business, but it is must, it is required. In profession also, depending on the type of profession, we need investment, we need capital. For example, a doctor wants to run his or her own clinic or hospital, then we'll need finance. And in employment, we don't need any capital investment, it will be made by the owner. So no capital investment needed in employment or job. Next, risk and uncertainties. Risk and uncertainties are inherent, are part and parcel of business. When there is business, there is risk and there are risks and uncertainties. In profession also, there are certain risks of not getting fees, getting less fees from some clients. But in employment, we don't have any risk and uncertainties, or uncertainties and risks are least in job or employment because we have fixed or predetermined remuneration called wages or salary. Next, code of conduct. Now what is code of conduct? Code of conduct means self-made rules. So in business, you don't frame your own code of conduct, but we have to follow rules and regulations and laws which are framed and formulated by authorities, different government authorities and government itself. In profession, as they are self-employed, they are independent, so they frame their own code of conduct. Professional associations frame code of conduct, rules to be followed by its members. So it is followed in profession. And in job or employment, the person doing job or employment will have to follow those rules and regulations which are decided as at the time of agreement between the employer and employee, the owner and employee or worker. वो जो एग्रीमेंट होता है, टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस फिक्स होती है जॉब स्टार्ट करते वक्त, वो फॉलो करनी होती है. The person who is doing job has to follow those rules. Next, last, and that is transfer of ownership. In business, we can transfer ownership. Means transfer of ownership is possible in business. In profession, it is not possible because in profession, the moment professional come out, that activity comes to a stop. So in profession, ownership transfer is not possible. And in employment also, we cannot transfer employment because we don't own anything in job or employment. We are servant there. We are worker there. So no question of transfer of ownership in job and employment. So friends, this is the broad comparison between business, profession and employment. It surely gives us idea, in fact a comprehensive idea about what business is, about what profession is and about what employment is. We can answer any question based on business, profession and employment. If we prepare this much, that will give confidence to you about the concepts of business, profession and employment. Thank you.